Good afternoon everyone. So we're looking at a double unboxing of two very similar sort of style watches. I was also asked to look at these two in like a comparison video. So I thought, yeah, go on in, why not? So we're looking at a Timex Expedition Camper watch versus a Sekonda Wingman. I was asked to see like what's the quality in terms of what's the quality like with both of them, and so yeah, I'm bringing you that video today. So on the left hand side, we've obviously got the Timex stored in a simple display style box, and the Sekonda is stored in a bit more of a fatter style box, revealing a pouch inside. It's obviously boxed in two very different ways. Not a lot in the Sekonda pouch, to be fair. Just a simple sleeve. Now, just in terms of being able to return this to its owner when I'm done with the review, I'm not allowed to take this out of the box. This like the display compartment that it's held in, but we can get around this fairly well looking at the watch. So yeah, on the left we've got the Timex Expedition Camper white dial, and on the right we've got the Sekonda Wingman 3882.27. So the Timex retails at £23.90, and the Sekonda's that slightly bit more, not enough to be a big difference really, at £25. The Timex has a 38mm case diameter versus a Sekonda's 42mm case diameter, and the Timex has the 9mm case thickness, and the Sekonda Wingman has the 10mm. So there's not a lot of sort of difference in terms of the thickness there. The weight of the Timex weighs less, probably because of the Velcro strap, and the Sekonda weighs 50 grams, whereas the Timex weighs 38. So that's obviously the watches at face value. So let's get a little bit closer to the dials now and have a little look. So in terms of the actual dial for the Timex, we've got a plain white easy read style dial. The unique thing about this particular watch is, well, and these sort of releases in general from Timex, is you get what they call an Indiglo nightlight, as you can see it's labelled down here, which means it's got a light up dial. The hands don't, the hands light up. The numbers don't, but the actual dial does. Whereas the Sekonda has a sunray silver stainless steel finish on the dial, with fully luminous hands and fully luminous increments, with an easy read sort of style number system to it as well. So it's got a mixture of both there. Yeah, but the main part of this one is you can see all of it, but different parts of it at night. The actual this particular model, you can only get two variants, but there's quite a few variants of the actual Expedition watch. There's quite a few sort of different variations, different sort of designs. But the actual Timex Camper watch is the only two types that I can see on Amazon. Whereas the Sekonda Wingman, there's over 5 different variants of this particular model. So you've got plenty more choice to pick from. They both have date dial as well, so they are similar in that way. They both operate on a quartz movement of unknown caliber. With the Sekonda, you only get 50 meters water resistance, whereas the other one you get 100 meters water resistance. So you get a little bit more for your money in terms of using it in like water regions, swimming and stuff like that. So yeah, let's move around to the side and look at the side of the casing if we can here. So obviously, as I said before, the casing for the Indiglo is housed in like a resin style case, as you can see, which is probably why it's lighter. Whereas the Sekonda is a stainless steel with a polished finish on the crown, and the Timex has a brush finish on the crown. Let's see if we can I'll take my gloves off and probably get better access to that. At second position, the hands give you a good amount of feedback, really good there. That's excellent, nice and strong, nice and rugged, and a nice push down as well. With the Sekonda, let's have a little look at how well the crown's made. Yeah, good rotational date dial, nice resistance to it when you're turning it around. I'm not a fan of how it clicks out, but the actual crown, once you get it out to the second position, feels really good. There's a good, decent amount of feedback. There's not a lot to compare on there on those fronts. This one, when it pops out, sounds better. It just sounds less cheap, but they both feel the same when you're moving them around the face. What I like about the Sekonda watch is you get a bit more sort of depth to it. It makes it look, just stands out, I think, a bit more with that sun radar and the depth to the watch. You can see the indented markers here are angled slightly, about 45 degrees, to give the face a bit of depth. Whereas the Timex has just got a flat interior dial inside a casing. So coming down to the straps. Obviously noticeable differences. One's a Velcro strap and one's a line stitch fabric strap. The Velcro Timex strap is a 23mm in width, a bit of the unusual strap size, whereas the Sekonda is a 22mm leather line stitch strap. In terms of the actual brands, Timex was established before Sekonda back in 1854 and is from the other side of the pond, so it's from America. And they go for a bit more sort of thoughtful and innovative designs. Whereas Sekonda, they were founded in 1966. Well, that's according to the website online. And they're a British brand, so they're located basically where I am now. And they offer, literally, in their own words, simply great watches. They don't focus too much on extravagant, silly designs. They just know what makes their watches good and focus on that. Might better get around that. Can't really get around the back of this watch due to the fabric strap on the back there. So we're just going to leave that there to see what it is compared to face value. On the back of the Sekonda, we've just got a plain metal screw down back plate with a sort of a mirror finish. You can see a few more sort of ideas on the back there. Yeah, so you've got Japanese movement in the back of this one. I'm not sure what they use in a Timex. My overall verdict of these is, if you like a I think the Timex would suit you better if you're going. Obviously, I think these two, they're for different purposes really. But I was asked to compare them just to sort of for the quality wise. They're very, very similar in terms of the quality. I'd say the Timex would put up a better fight in terms of being rugged, but that's the design of the watch. Whereas the Sekonda is designed to be sort of more of a pilot's watch, hence the name of it, the Wingman name. Personally, out of these two, I prefer the plain white dial and just the simple elegantness of this mixed with the Velcro strap. I like the ruggedness of this. I'm not a big fan of that sunray silver with the brown strap. It might look a bit better with a black strap, but yeah, I don't really like the stainless steel thing. But in terms of the actual functionality and what's best, they're both very similar. They're very hard to compare. The polish finish on the Sekonda looks nice, but then yeah, it looks nicer than having the Timex's resin case, but then from this you get better ball resistance. It gives better ruggedness for it. So I think as a day-to-day watch, you might be better off just with this, because if you're working, say if you're working in trade or your active lifestyle, you're going mountain biking, you're camping, you're lots of like an active lifestyle outdoors in like rough conditions or in the wet, etc. Timex is probably for you. Whereas if you're sort of a bit more have a bit more relaxed approach to your lifestyle, I'd say the Sekonda to be a bit more suited to you, just with the materials and how they're made. So there we go, guys. That is the dual unboxing of the Timex Expedition Camper and the Sekonda Wingman 3882. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next video.